What does health really mean to you beyond the usual definitions?
I think what health really means to me is like actual quality of your life. And if you don't have good health, you don't have anything. Health is not just looking good and feeling good. It's like mental clarity, sharpness, mitochondria in check, and all of these things actually compile on top of each other to give you amazing stress regulation and emotional regulation and overall general peace and happiness within your mind and body, which then from that place you get to operate and make sense of the world and this reality and your connection with self, with God, with other people. I think that's what changes for me, and it's like that's the operating platform that I want to operate from.
Wow. Okay. That's deeper than just physical well-being. It's a holistic thing for sure.
I'm Benjamin White, your host and founder of Human Plus, a precision wellness brand built with one mission: to upgrade the way we live, recover, and perform. Let's dive in. Today is a little experiment. I've just been caught up working and super busy, and I didn't really have much organization this week we booked in this session, and I was like, should we just cancel it? And I was like, no, let's try something different. Let's play around with the AI and just like have a random podcast with AI and see where it goes. So this is going to be interesting, let's say the least. I'm kind of curious how this goes. I'm going to start it up. I'm using Sesame AI, sesame.com. And I think I'll go with Miles, the dude's voice.
Hey there. Back so soon. Anything on your mind today?
We're doing a podcast and you are the interviewer. My company is Human Plus, and it's like emphasizes on longevity, human optimization. We do IV therapy, ozones. We can talk all things peptides, regenerative medicine. But yeah, take it away.
Okay, cool. Human Plus, longevity. Sounds fascinating. All right. Let's see. The listeners, welcome. And welcome to the show. All right. First question. In a few words, what does Human Plus mean to you from your perspective?
How do I give access to everyone to have the capacity and the capability to basically do what Brian Johnson does for themselves? It's like there's so many different things out in the world now where you can try and experiment, from healing, spirituality, biohacking, medicine, supplementation, exercise. And I want Human Plus to be a place where you can actually get measurable results and data from the things that you're trying. So yes, we're a service provider, but on the back end, I'm designing tech, apps, testing applications where you can actually compound everything you do and use on yourself into a place that gives you a digital representation of what's going on inside you. And you can actually measure what's making a difference. So I want this. Human Plus for me is my own experiment in order how to is my own experiment in how I can actually measure all of the different things that I'm doing and how they've had an effect on me. And actually for someone who isn't even an avid biohacker or health enthusiast, to be able to start somewhere and have protocols and knowledge on how they can improve their biology, their mental health, and their physical health without it being complicated. I kind of geek out on this data stuff where I get to see my biological age and understand my blood testing and markers, but I wasn't always like that. And I think only when it became available to me and I was like, oh, wow, I can do this, and then I could afford to do it, and then I could actually make sense of what it was that I was receiving and how I could improve it, because you get a bunch of blood test results back and you're like, well, what does that actually mean? And how do I make any difference out of it? So yeah, that for me is what Human Plus is. It's a place where you can fully understand how to optimize oneself.
It's more than just services. It's about empowerment and measurable results.
Well, it's a place where you get access to all biohacking devices, biology, theology, regenerative medicine, and have a cool social wellness type of community where it actually just feels like this is where I want to be.
All right. Okay. Next question.
When someone asks you, what do you do? What do you really want to say? beyond the elevator pitch, what's the origin story, if you will? What's the personal story behind Human Plus, and where did the idea come from? Was there a specific moment or experience that changed everything for you and set this in motion?
Yeah, I think when someone asks me, actually, I get stumped on this question sometimes. But I guess in the simplest ways, I'm a longevity enthusiast that wants to get the most out of his biology and mental capacity and overall experience in life. And I think I do that through having wealth in my health. And yeah, the origin story, man, I got to this from my own just continued experiment on myself when I was going through a journey of recovery and healing from a brain injury. And I just started trying everything and anything that I could that basically came my way. And through that, I landed on biology enhancements, being like IV therapy, detox protocols, supplementations, peptides, and the big one for me, regenerative medicine, things like exosomes and stem cells. But I was like, whoa, I literally feel like I'm 10 years younger. This is insane. And if you've never experienced what that feeling is, it is kind of hard to explain other than just like, well, I feel so much more vital.
Wow, that's intense. So a real turning point then at that feeling of revitalization.
Yeah, I think we all want to, I hear so many times in my life, like, oh, whether it's back in my day or like if I had my time again and could do those things, it's like, well, actually you can, and it's not as unattainable as you might think. And yeah, I think with Human Plus, I want to be able to bridge that gap a little bit to make this more accessible and just at the forefront of your mind that it's possible.
That's powerful. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. Philosophy and beliefs. What are the core values that shape everything you do at Human Plus?
For me, the core values that shape everything at Human Plus is if I wouldn't do it myself, I don't want to recommend it. Is a big part for me. I think, yeah, I have gone through pretty rigorous self-testing on almost everything that we offer. Obviously, there's a couple of things that just don't align with what I need. But in general, on the performance side of things, I'm usually not putting my hand up to promote something unless I've tried it myself.
Okay. So a really personal vetting process. That makes sense. Next up, what does health really mean to you beyond the usual definitions?
I think what health really means to me is like the actual quality of your life. And if you don't have good health, you don't have anything. And I think health is it's not just looking good and feeling good. It's like mental clarity, sharpness, mitochondria in check, and like all of these things actually kind of compile on top of each other to give you like amazing stress regulation and emotional regulation and overall general peace and happiness within your mind and body, which then from that place you get to operate and make sense of the world and this reality and your connection with self, with God, with other people. I think that's what changes for me, and it's like that's the operating platform that I want to operate from.
Wow. Okay. That's deeper than just physical well-being. It's a holistic thing for sure.
So for listeners who might be new to the world of optimizing, what's the biggest misconception people have about extending lifespan or even just improving health span? Is it all just about chasing some fountain of youth, or is there something deeper going on?
Yeah, I think for me, the fountain of youth or like the longevity, extra years of living is kind of something that you don't really get to experience now. But for me, it's more about how I feel in this moment. And by doing these therapies, these remedies, getting my biology in alignment has just like, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it's like the light gets switched on and like you lose the brain fog and the fatigue, and you're just like, wow, this is what it feels like to be on all the time. And your sleep's not disrupted. Everything's just in check, and you're like, well, my body is getting watered with the best fuel or water. If I was a flower, that I'm getting the best sunlight so I can flourish the most that I'm capable of flourishing, if that makes sense.
That's a really beautiful way to put it, actually. Flower analogy, especially. It's easy to get stuck on just the ag years part, but you're right. It's the quality of those years, and honestly, it's just the quality of the now. So, sounds like a lot of what you do isn't just preventative, it's restorative, like reclaiming energy that was already lost. Is that fair to say? And for people who are maybe hesitant about things like IV therapy or ozone, what's the biggest hurdle to overcome in terms of education or understanding?
I think most part people are scared about IV therapy and ozone. In particular, I've heard some uncomfortable stories about ozone where just there hasn't been done right, and they've actually really impacted and hurt the person in doing it. There is definitely the need to have this done by professionals, and so I think that's one element when you hear some horror stories. And then the other part, I think for me, was like, I just don't like needles, and a lot of people don't like needles. And so the idea of like, yo, can I get this through just food and nutrition? And I think by no means is IV therapy a substitute for a healthy lifestyle, but the fact of the matter is a lot of our nutrients in food isn't the same as what it was 20, 30, 50 years ago. And in order to get the same nourishment in all these foods that we have access to in our supermarkets, sometimes it's kind of hard. We're also subdued or exposed to a bunch more toxicity than we were ever back then. And I think our bodies are always a little bit under compromise trying to filter through that and detoxify that. So a direct hit of minerals and vitamins sometimes is exactly what the doctor ordered. And it's like, it's not medicine per se. It's like you're actually just, it's vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that are helping your body be boosted to process what it's already doing.
All right, so it's less about fixing a problem and more about giving the body the tools to like really perform at its best. What's one nutrient you consistently see people deficient in that has a surprisingly big impact on how they feel?
Well, I'd say magnesium is a big one. I always say you can't get enough vitamin C. Vitamin C is definitely up there with, I think, one of the most powerful sort of vitamins, or I guess minerals or product. Can't think of the right word right now. Vitamin C is definitely up there with the most powerful ingredient you can put in an IV. And yeah, then with magnesium, you don't even understand how much your body needs it sometimes, and you're deficient in it. And once you have it, you're like, oh my God, I feel so rested, and I slept so well after having a magnesium dosage increase, or in this case, an IV.
It's wild how much a deficiency in something seemingly small can throw everything off, right? You feel it almost immediately. So speaking of immediate impact, what's the most surprising result someone's had after one of your treatments? Something that really stuck with you?
I think the one that I get the most is, man, I really, really feel the difference after having one of your IVs compared to IVs I've had in the past. 'Cause I think IVs now, I first did one in Vegas, like, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago, longer, actually, 15. And I thought it was amazing that they would come to your hotel room and they would give you these IVs for hangovers. But since then, I know in Bali for sure, there's a bunch of different IV companies, but you can't just make a cocktail of everything and anything inside an IV, because a lot of the ingredients will cancel out the other ingredients, and you're just putting in saline. So you're not actually getting the effect of feeling what an IV therapy could be benefiting you from, because you've just basically put in a bunch of neutralized ingredients that aren't having much effect on you.
Gotcha. So it's not just what you put in, but how you put it in. A lot of nuance. Sounds like a lot of places are just throwing stuff together, but yeah, you guys are really dialed in on the science of it all. How's your own health journey shaped the way you lead today?
Yeah, I think my own health journey is probably exactly why I'm in the position that I'm in, even to the fact that I potentially wouldn't have never moved to Bali, Indonesia. But almost 9 years ago, I was in a coma for 6 days. I sustained a head injury from a stupid drunken fight, actually. And yeah, waking up from that kind of changed everything for me in one moment. As much as I was in denial and feeling like I was fine, as months went on, I realized that I was in a spot where I was like, well, I need to look for something else here to try and get me back to my baseline. So yeah, in a nutshell, I couldn't walk and talk in the beginning, but it came back super quick. I was very lucky. And then I was out of hospital within a month. And then from there, it was just, all right, how do I piece back together what kind of felt like my mind was a little bit fragmented? And that's just what sent me on this journey to basically try anything and everything that came my way. I think I saw every single healer I could possibly see. I was going to a place called Functional Neurology and Science Institute where they would hook you up to like an EEG scan and give you like electronic shocks while reading Where's Wally, listening to Beethoven, searching for Where's Wally while listening to Beethoven in one side of your ear to try and stimulate different parts of your brain. And ultimately that kind of led me down to regenerative medicine, and I was doing different detox protocols and peptides, and I landed on exosomes and stem cells, and they kind of pushed the needle for me the most at the end. As much as I already thought I was in my baseline, because these came in like 5 years later, I had these and I was like, whoa, I forgot what my baseline was before. And now I went back to that and I feel like I surpassed my baseline. I was just like, I feel fucking amazing. And yeah, that is basically how I landed on this space. And I was like, this is interesting. This is exactly where I want to be. And I want to be a part of an industry that's evolving in this way as we are unlocking different things within our biology and AI's influence and help. It's just, yeah, it's one of the most, for me, interesting topics and fields in the world because it's directly influencing your life expectancy, the quality of your life, and how you interact with the world.
That's a truly incredible story. Pretty intense journey. Okay, next up, place of purpose. Why is Bali the right place for Human Plus? What does this land offer that others don't?
Why is Bali the right place for this? It's the mecca of wellness and healing, and now I would say fitness, like in the world. Like I can throw a stone from my house in Chengdu and I think I can hit 8 different gyms, which are all on a phenomenal level of quality and standard. Bali is just this unique place where it's the mecca of wellness. It used to be the mecca and probably still is the mecca of yoga as well as India, but it's the place where people come to heal. It's a place where people come to just have a gap year. And now it's a place where people come to like supercharge their biology, make a shift or a change in their life, get back to themselves, train, eat healthy. Like I think it's the mecca for health and fitness and wellness in the world. And now our medical systems and biology and everything else is catching up to meet the standard that everything else is kind of moved forward with in Bali. And I think that's why, I don't know, if you've been to Bali, if you've spent some time in Bali, you know that this place is so unique and there's nowhere else like it in the world. And there's no other place I'd rather be.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But all right, let's see. What role do you see Human Plus playing in the evolution of wellness tourism?
It's going to bridge the gap for how people can relate to test results and have access to all of the things that, like I said before, like Brian Johnson does, and do it at an affordable price, have a community around you while you're doing it. And it's really going to be, I think it's going to be a staple and a place in Bali where after the big facilities open that you're like, wow, if you've been to Bali, if you haven't been to Human Plus and experienced that type of wellness culture, as well as the biohacking devices and things that are available to improve your biology, then you haven't seen everything you've seen in Bali. So I think we're going to have a big placement here, and it'll be world renowned and recognized.
Okay, I like it. All right, let's move on. Optimization, human optimization, and community. What do you mean by human optimization, and how do you approach it differently?
Yeah, like I said before, the human optimization and community, it's us creating a space that gives you an a la carte menu and access within your membership to all of the bells and whistles in biohacking, from HBOTs to red light therapy to therapeutic plasma exchange to ozone therapy, exosomes, stem cells. That's all available within your membership at a clinic or a facility. But at the back, it also has this beautiful, rich dynamic of social wellness. And we're talking structured watered ice baths and pools, unique therapeutic sauna experiences, blending in PEMF, sound therapy, and just an immersive experience where it's like, that's actually where I want to be hanging out. I don't want to spend my money going to a nightclub to pay a bunch of money to sit at a table and drink poison. I'd rather be at a place where people care about their health. They're intelligent people having intelligent conversations, which are interesting. And I go home at a reasonable hour and my cup feels full socially.
That sounds remarkably appealing, actually. Okay. Next. What kind of people is Human Plus really for? Who is your community?
Yeah, I think I just answered that. Anyone who wants to be surrounded by good humans that are having interesting conversations around what's happening in the world and in their lives outside of the typical socializing standard of going to a nightclub or a venue. Yeah, it's like the third space that you didn't know you wanted or you didn't know how good it could be. And I think these third spaces are kind of popping off all over the world right now. And yeah, I want Human Plus to be positioned as its own unique third place, which adds an element to, oh, wow, I didn't even know that was possible for a third space. And now I'm in it. I'm like, there's no other space that I want to be in when I spend my downtime.
All right. Next up, how do you balance high performance living and deep connection and soul?
Yeah, I would say it's something I've been struggling with of late, as I've just been in such a grind phase because I'm genuinely excited about what I'm building here, but at the same time, at what cost? Because sometimes, you're designing a brand to amplify one's life and biology, and you don't want to do it at the cost of burning yourself out. But for me, it's a blend between working diligently on something that you're passionate about, and for me, this feels like my creative zone of genius, and having a connection with God and still having that time out. I call it a Sabbath day, where you like have a day where you try to have no devices and just genuine connection and not work. I think without that, you're selling yourself short, and it changes everything and how you show up throughout the week, through meetings, through life. Like, you need to have that balance. And yeah, that for me, yeah. Daily routine of physical exercise, and don't take your phone to the gym. Like, leave that in the locker and just be like, I'm going in, I'm working out, I'm going to do a 15-minute sauna, and then I'll get back into it. Like, those little breaks are like, should be non-negotiables, and they are game changers.
Okay. I think we're about halfway through these questions. Let's keep going. Business now and exit. Where is Human Plus today, and what's currently operating? What's under construction or in the pipeline now? And what does success look like for you beyond revenue or expansion?
Where Human Plus is at today, I actually only took this company over a year ago, and I wasn't actually planning on getting an IV company and launching it in this way. I was actually working on a larger project of like a rehab and longevity resort, where you kind of had everything under one roof that I've experienced around the world. And with the philosophy of, you come stay here, and instead of going on a holiday where you need a holiday from the holiday you just went on because you overindulged in alcohol and food, here you're going to come and we're going to give you years back on your life. But this opportunity came up, and I was like, well, here's something I can grab now and test out some of these protocols and these facilities. And it was literally probably we're like a week off a year that it got offered to me. And within that year, we have about to open up our third location, well, 2.5. We have a full comprehensive blood lab and facility in Denpasar, which we partnered with another amazing company called Helix. So we're in partnership with them. I have a clinic in Canggu, which should be opening within a couple of weeks. And then I have another sort of satellite collaboration that we do with a couple of gyms. And yeah, we've been growing rapidly fast. And then on the horizon is the flagship store, which will be, a mecca for biohacking, longevity, and social wellness, next to one of the biggest gyms here in Bali. I think the biggest gym in Bali. And I'm excited about that. And then from there, I have some other invitations for globally, but at this point in time, I just need to concentrate on this one concept, get it out the door, and one of those things of like, let's crawl before you can walk, because it is kind of exciting in this space, and people are always coming with different offers and opportunities, and you need to start being a little bit more selective and just nail one thing down really, really well before you start to branch out everywhere and do everything all at once.
Makes sense. Okay. One more question. Closing and reflection. If someone could take one message away from Human Plus, what would you want it to be? And then one final question. What is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started this journey?
What was the first question again?
If someone could take one message away from Human Plus, what would you want it to be? And then what is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started this journey?
One message they could take away now from Human Plus, what could it be? Understanding your biology is much easier than you think, and we are living at the perfect time in order for you to use the tools that are available to really understand what's going on within your body, to catch any things before they get out of alignment, radically change inflammation that's going on inside your body, and give yourself a solid baseline of where you're at today. So then if anything pops up in the future, you'll catch it early, and you're pre-preventative medicine. You're understanding what's going on. And then one thing that I would say that I wish I knew now.
Yep.
I mean, I always say that I feel like business and relationships are two of the biggest growth accelerators that someone can go through. And this journey over the past year, I've definitely grown and made some mistakes in how to be an effective leader. And I can't say I'm not going to say I want them to go back and do things differently, but I'll definitely say that the journey of those things helps you grow immensely, or helped me grow immensely. And so if there's one thing that I'd go back into that, it's just like, be more kind to yourself and figure out effective systems, because systems are your friend when you're trying to bootstrap a company or a startup. I can definitely see where I would fall short by trying to do everything without having correct systems in place. That's been my school of Fort Knox for the year, of trying to manage a company in a foreign country and figure it out as you go. That was interesting.